Hello, Nomads, and welcome to episode 47 of the Nomads of Fantasy podcast. I am your host this evening. Good start. Eric. My name is Eric. And I have with me Brandon.
Mama's not the law. I am the law.
I also have Dave with me.
And as for you, Mama, judgment time.
Nice. And also a very special guest joining us tonight, Tom from Response Message.
I am the guest.
Beautiful. Before we get started, I just wanted to let Tom kind of introduce himself and tell us a little bit about his podcast that just launched.
Yep.
Ooh.
So my name is Tom, also known as Time Waffle on the internet, and myself and my friend Aaron, also known as Professor Ticklebits.
Great name. I always love that name.
Okay.
We used to have this podcast about Gundam, but then we kind of got sick about only talking about Gundam. So we kind of transitioned into, we're going to talk about long-running movie franchises. So we're going to watch, right now, for example, we're watching all the Fast and Furious movies.
Oh, jeez.
For our first season. So we got 10 of those to watch.
That's some work.
That's some work.
It is. So we just launched episode 1 last week after transitioning. You can find it at responsemessage.com. It's a fun time. Me and Aaron are some dumb heads who make real dumb jokes.
It's great. I implore everybody to listen to it. I actually listened to the first episode today.
Thank you.
It's fantastic. I love hearing you guys talk.
The early ones I think were pretty good. The further you go,
The Fast and Furious,
down the Fast
yeah.
and the Furious line, I don't know. Mixed
I've never
reviews.
watched any of them, but I heard that Tokyo Drift is actually good.
Tokyo Drift is a
It's
good
like-
movie.
I like Tokyo
Right?
Drift.
Yeah.
2 is
I've only
I heard good things about that.
we recorded 2 Too Fast, Too Furious this weekend, and it's bad.
Okay.
Because it it starts really good, or it starts okay, then 2 is bad, 3 is good, 4 is kind of bad, then 5 just kind of they become spy thrillers at a point.
Starts to go off the a little
Yeah.
bit. I mean,
Only so many cars you can steal, and
Yeah.
they start just becoming like superhero movies.
Yeah. Eventually they have to chase down a nuclear sub in the Arctic. So
Are you serious? Oh my god.
that's
I did
8.
not know that.
9
I mean-
gets crazier.
Oh my god.
What else do you do for a movie or a franchise that has 10 movies? You know,
Yeah.
you gotta go.
I mean,
you gotta go to space eventually.
Jurassic Park couldn't even get to Jurassic World without tripping over its own feet. So I don't know. Good on them.
Yeah.
It's true. Yep. Well, we did our quotes. If you recognize those are from the movie Dredd, released in 2012, starring Carl Urban. And we will get into that later. But before we do that, we're going to start with our catch-up section like we always do, where we tell each other what we've been watching, playing. So let's start with Dave.
Ooh, I haven't done terribly much. It sounds like the same one-note piano, but playing more Elden Ring. Slowly but surely getting my way through there. My taste breaker, I don't know. I threw in some Battlefront this weekend. Me and Brandon played some Smite randomly.
Oh, that's right. Got our ass whooped.
Yeah, it happens when you jump into competitive games after not playing. But that game's fun. So, the other thing I was watching this week was Space Force on Netflix. Have you guys caught this one at all?
I've caught
It's the Steve Carell one, right?
Yeah.
I caught the first half of the first season and then kind of bounced off of it.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's not as good as The Office. It's kind of got that NASA in The Office kind of vibe to it. I don't know. It's hard not to compare because it's Steve Carell. So, but it's got John Malkovich, Ben Schwartz, the voice of Sonic the Hedgehog, Jimmy O Yang from Silicon Valley. But it's got a solid cast. It's got vulgarity in it, which is kind of fun to see. Malkovich has a pretty horrible mouth on him, but it's kind of like a bunch of dumbasses trying to run NASA, but obviously it's the Space Force, so which is fun. But you go to the moon, hilarity ensues. yada yada yada. But other than that, this week, not too much. How about you, Brandon?
No, wait, but Dave, didn't you watch the first episode of Moon Knight? Which I didn't know was even coming out. I just knew it existed, and I thought it was going to be a movie, but then all of a sudden it just came out on Disney Plus. Just real quick, because I haven't watched it yet.
Sure.
Would you recommend?
It's Disney-ified. I started watching a lot of the Disney series. I don't know. I don't think have been terribly great. Tried to watch Hawkeye, and that got kind of lame and kiddie-ish.
Okay.
I've heard this was like the quote unquote like grittiest one so far.
Yeah.
Or it's going to be.
It's got like mental psychosis kind of things where you don't know what's real for like the first episode. I think they've only just got the first one out now.
Yeah.
But it's got Oscar Isaac in it, and he's fantastic. I don't know terribly much about Moon Knight. He's one of the lesser known Marvel characters. He's been around for ages, and he's got a cool ass suit, which always helps. But it's got Egyptian ties in. That's kind of where the whole superpowers thing comes into play. So not terribly far into it. I think it was only 7 or 8 episodes this season. So
I think it's 6.
Yeah. It wasn't a lot.
6.
So
Ooh, short.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if
hour long
fine with me.
episode, or
I think it was like 40 something minutes.
47. Okay. A little bit on the longer side. Okay.
Yeah, not too bad, but I don't know if they're just like introducing them just so they can pull them into other series and stuff like that. They're just kind of giving this little intro chapter into the Marvel universe, which is cool because Oscar Isaac's a great actor, and it's good to get his talents into the universe. You got to kind of recycle your characters after so long.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting British accent he's doing.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, is he doing an accent?
There's an accent. I don't mind it. I didn't really throw me off or anything. So
I enjoyed the first episode when I watched it.
Yeah. I mean, do you know much about the character at all, or is this all fresh for you?
I have a passing knowledge of Moon Knight. Like I've read like a run and a half maybe back in the day, where he just hasn't like. I haven't read any of his defining runs. Like I know it's like multiple personalities. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like his whole thing.
Yeah. Where I mean, in the show, he's it's whenever he goes to sleep. Basically, he's tying himself up to the bed because he knows something's going on at night, which is kind of cool because you're seeing it from his perspective for like the first episode.
Oh. Sounds like The Mask with Jim Carrey.
Oh yeah,
a little bit.
Totally.
Well, yeah,
you can't take the mask off.
Yeah.
But yeah, Moon, like, and then by the end of the first, I'll get into any spoilers, but the mystery is revealed by the end of the first, and I don't know. Like you said, it's only 6 episodes, so I don't know. It doesn't seem like there's a terribly far they can go with it, but he seems like a pretty cool character. So excited to see some more there.
Thanks
for the reminder.
Yeah, I just knew you watched it. And, yeah.
Awesome. Eventually, I'll catch up on all this Marvel stuff. Like, I haven't watched any of the recent Marvel stuff in a long time. I feel like the last thing I watched was, we did Loki for the podcast. I watched WandaVision, but I haven't seen like Hawkeye or Falcon and Winter Soldier or like the newest Spider-Man movie. That's the one that I really want to.
That's a good one.
Watch.
WandaVision has been the best series, I think.
Yeah, I enjoyed WandaVision.
It was pretty original, and they kind of stuck to it. I don't know. Hawkeye's, I bounced off of it twice so far. I tried starting that though, so I don't know. That's me. What do you got there, Brandon?
I got the new Lego Star Wars game.
Oh,
I got
Skywalker Saga.
The Skywalker Saga. Yeah,
sweet.
We were just rocking and roll with it tonight with the kids. The 2 little ones, and I'm mostly just watching them play, and it's gorgeous. It's cool.
And it's like it's not
played a lot of those games.
It's not a remaster. It's like a whole new.
It's everything.
Yeah, they like completely redid each episode. Did you start from like the beginning, like episode 1? Where'd you start?
The 3-year-old I wanted to start in episode 1. Jack, the 7-year-old, wanted to do episode 1, but Ryan, the 3-year-old, wanted to do. He wanted Darth Vader. So episode 4. So what? I don't want to ruin anything. It just came out, but
you're gonna spoil Star Wars.
it's just so when you play the game, like when you first start to play, like you have up to 400 characters to collect and all that stuff, which is cool. But they, out of all the movies, they give you the first one of each of the trilogies to start. So, which is kind of cool. I think that's a smart idea instead of forcing you in one way or the other, because everybody approaches Star Wars kind of differently. So I thought it was cool. I got the version with all the DLC because I know I'm gonna buy it. I want it all. So I got like the Mandalorian, the Kenobi stories. They had other things in there, but
That's cool.
So I'm pretty pumped. But I was just mostly watching the kids, and they were having a great time, helping them certain characters. But the jokes were just as good as they were before. So if you like Telltale games, and obviously if you like Star Wars, I mean, I think it's a no-brainer. I rarely buy games day one, wait for some kind of discount. But this, I was like, no, I need this.
Do they use like the audio clips from the movie, or like they have voiceover for it? Right?
Yeah, and the Vader that they have is pretty good because he's got to do his own lines, for some of the jokes. But the first time they were making these games, there was no voiceovers. It was just kind of that.
It's all the pantomiming stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but now it's actually lines from the movies,
cool.
and
cool.
then the voice actors sound pretty close.
The gameplay looks a lot better than the old Star Wars.
The camera's
Lego
been
games.
brought down. Yep.
And they're like fully like open worlds, right?
Yeah. So you'll do some like linear things where if it like the one we did in episode 4, so it starts off just like the movie, and then you're Leia and one of the rebel soldiers, and you're just going down the white corridors, taking out the stormtroopers and running away from Vader, and it was pretty badass. All right, this is really cool. So there's just so many characters around, but it was like all the background characters that you saw in the movie. You know how like when they first show that scene, they show like all the werewolf guy and the devil guy, and like they're there in the cantina, and it's just like they cool. could have just done like random people that look like they live in the desert, but they, Oh, and also real quick, you do fight Tusken Raiders. And you are killing them, and it's just like after watching the Book of Boba, I don't know how to feel now. I feel like So anyway, all right, I don't want to ruin any more of that.
They better put some love and care into this. This game has been in the works for like ever.
Yeah. I think it. I mean, from the first hour, it shows. So that's it. But yeah, if our guests would like to hit us up with what you've been watching, I mean,
Tom, what do you got? Watching, playing, whatever.
Well, I did watch a movie this weekend. It came out in a limited release. It's called Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
I've heard about this. I've heard good things.
It's a multiverse movie where Michelle Yeoh is the main character. Mm-hmm. But it's like has these grand concepts, but it's also at its heart a family story. It's a story about like her mother, like a mother accepting that like her daughter's gay and like dealing with like a divorce and all this stuff, but there's also this big old multiverse story happening where she can have powers from like other lives. She puts on like two Bluetooth
that's cool
earbuds, and like you have to do something to trigger your multiverse powers. So like if you do something random, like eat chopstick, and then like you'll get like you have to find a way through the multiverse to get these powers.
Oh, okay.
Like your mind has to do weird random stuff.
Okay.
So it's a lot of weird random action, just absurd shit happening like all the time. And
is this like comedy or what's
it's
the
action
genre?
comedy?
Okay.
It's directed by Daniels, who did Swiss Army Man. That tells you anything? The farting Daniel Radcliffe corpse
where
movie?
the guy is dead and it's just the two of them on an island, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I was in a theater and like everyone was laughing, and then people like started crying towards the end. It's like kind of like the tone of like a Thor Ragnarok, where it's like absurd one moment and then it actually gets like deathly serious.
Pretty serious. Yeah.
Okay.
If you ever want to see Jamie Lee Curtis in an action role,
yes,
like
she's in it.
Yes,
that's awesome.
It's definitely one of the best movies I've seen in a long time. I think wide release is this weekend.
Okay. So this is theater only?
Yes, for now.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
I've never heard of this.
A24.
Oh, A24 made this?
I was going to say, we've done a bunch of A24 movies on the podcast.
Yeah, they're...
Right, dude? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm sold because I know there's another A24 movie coming out. It's
Well, Alex Garland's new movie.
Yeah,
Men,
Alex
is
Garland's
coming.
movie. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, it has like a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes or something like that right now.
Damn.
What?
Okay.
Okay.
Has
Awesome.
Data from the Goonies as her husband.
Oh,
Come on. Really?
Looking at that
Yeah,
shot, it
that's
looks
great.
just like him too.
Yeah,
You just keep
Got the
sprinkling
same
in all these
haircut.
little reasons why I need to see this.
it's really, really good. I highly recommend it. Everyone should go watch it. And
Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, that was not on my radar before, but now it is.
Everything, everywhere, all at once, right?
yes,
Okay.
Cool.
Nice.
Cool, man. Yeah, anything else that you been jamming on?
Elden Ring. I guess
Yeah.
like everyone.
More Elden Ring.
I beat it last week.
Oh, you beat it.
I beat it. It took about 80
Congrats.
hours. And,
Oh man.
yeah, and then I started New Game Plus, and
Oh.
it feels
yeah.
like New Game Plus feels like a victory lap because
You're just murdering everybody. Like, do they give you all your stats?
yeah, you have all your stats. You keep the map as
Okay.
well,
Oh, wow.
but you just don't keep your points of grace. You keep the map though.
Sure.
And I knew it was going to be fun because I just chose like two of the biggest swords I can. I have like a strength build. I'm like, I'm going to have another sword now for New Game Plus. And I think I killed the tree sentinel in 3 hits.
Oh, nice.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, oh, this is going to be fun. And then
Oh
just,
boy.
like,
That's got to feel so good at the beginning of that game.
yeah. Got through Margit and like Godric in under an hour.
Ugh.
Because like when you don't have
Yeah.
to explore every nook and cranny, it's pretty like
You keep
just
your
a
weapons?
straight path.
Keep
Yeah.
all your
I was going
weapons?
to say, you could
Keep all your weapons, all your items.
basically just mainline it if you wanted to.
Yeah. And you
Yeah.
can get like second, like there's only one weapon in the game. Like you can get a second boss weapon.
Mhm.
And you get more like flasks and more like. I haven't found the second. Like you can probably get 2 of the Wonder Physics potion thingy.
Oh, that would be handy.
Yeah, you get 2 of those now. I think.
Huh.
But it's just a fun like victory lap in a game like that's probably top 5 of all time for me now.
Nice. I can't
That's
wait till I get to beat it someday.
I
It's
can't
hard.
wait till Brandon finally tries it out and hates it.
No, I'm good.
It's not
It's an
for
alpha
everyone.
game. It's an alpha game. Yeah, it takes dedication, takes your time away from life.
True.
So
I mean, I put 30, 40 hours in it. I don't know the last time I put that much time into a game. Like, that doesn't even sound like a lot, but I'm not the kind of person to sit with one game for a long time. So that tells you something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely want to get back to it eventually, but there's a lot of other things I want to get to as well. Was that it for you, Tom?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Mine's going to be short and sweet. I'll keep it short just because we've been dealing with a sick kid for the past couple days, so I haven't gotten a ton of time to do anything, but I have been continuing my quest with going through all the Arkham games. I put a little bit more
yeah.
time into Arkham City. Still great. Fantastic.
Cities 2, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, second one after Asylum. So yeah, I've just been going through that. I think I just beat the Raja Ghul boss fight, which was really fun.
Nice.
Yeah, like some awesome set pieces. I feel like they pretty much do every Batman villain justice, like throughout that entire
I
series.
love it. I
Like
love it.
they give everyone their moment, you know, to shine, and like it's just kind of like a love letter. I could see why people just regard these games like so highly, especially if you're a huge Batman fan.
Well, you know that like open world games are going to have side quests, right? And so the Joker is like the main villain in that one, right? So he's
Mhm.
constantly taunting you. So you kind of know what to do because he's kind of whatever. That's the main quest. But the side quests are the other villains that Batman has to
Yeah,
deal
it's
with.
so
So it's
good.
like the Penguin or
Well,
like
and-
Man-Bat or whatever. I think it's so cool.
And you're like helping some of them, like Bane, his side quest, like you have to destroy the Titan containers.
oh,
Like
okay,
there's 5
yeah.
different Titan containers throughout Arkham City, and you have to find those and destroy those. And like, yeah,
Okay.
each villain you kind of interact with in different ways. And the world isn't like super huge, so it feels like you can do all the side quests. You know, you come across something, and I feel like I can do it without straying off the main path too much. So that's nice. I feel like we don't get enough of those where it's like Arkham City is technically open world, but it's not like a huge world where, you know, you're bogged down with a ton of different things. So it's been nice. That's really all I've been playing. I can't really think of anything else. We're going to take a short break, and then after that, we will get into it. And we are back to talk about some Dredd. But before we do that, I put a quick little thing out on social media at Nomads of Fantasy, at Twitter and Instagram. I basically just said Carl Urban's Dredd, yay or nay, and everybody said yay. There were no nays. Just a couple comments here. Friday Night Music Party said should have been several more by now, which definitely could use a sequel for sure. Talking smack said all the yay. Wheel of Horror said yay anything Carl Urban for sure.
Agreed.
And then we got tons of happy gifs as well. So turns out,
GIFs.
GIFs. Listen,
people are sending peanut butter to us.
Yes, through the mail.
No.
We're getting jars of peanut butter. GIFs. Okay. Tons of happy gifs.
Thanks.
So it turns out people really like this movie, which is awesome. I mean, I had never seen it going in, so this was
no, me neither.
This was
I picked
this was
one.
Brandon's pick.
This was one of the early. I've been pushing on this probably since the creation of the podcast.
Tom, I'm guessing you had seen this because you wanted to be on this episode.
Yeah, I've seen this. I didn't see it in theaters, but like shortly after it came out in theaters, so it's like a decade ago.
Did you see it in 3D?
It's crazy.
No, I didn't see it in theaters.
It came out in 3D.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was like a big part of the marketing was
Yeah.
Dread 3D.
Dude, 2012,
Yeah.
that was like the time for 3D
Yeah.
in the theaters for sure.
It's
Yeah, it seems like everything back then there was a 3D version of it, and some of it not even that great.
No, I don't remember ever being impressed by anything. And the only thing, this is the one memory I have of seeing something in 3D in the theaters. It was Captain America, the first one. And it was when he threw his shield and it hit the tank and it bounced off back at the camera. And that like legitimately like, you know, made me jump. So that was the only instance of 3D in a theater that was actually effective that I remember. So I thought that was funny.
Nice.
I remember Avatar. I watched the Avatar.
Yeah.
That was like
Yeah,
the one
that's what
3D movie about
Yeah,
like,
who didn't see that?
That was
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the start of it. Yeah.
that everyone wanted to add $3 to your ticket price.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Well, so I bring up the 3D part only because this movie wasn't a box office success. Even though it was critically well received, you know, it's in that cult following kind of category because it, you know, just like The Shining that we saw and or we just talked about last episode, and we talked about Blade Runner, where these movies weren't big hits in the box office. You know, there's a lot of movies that we can kind of think of that had this happen, but they're actually really good. And I think this is an example of one of those movies. It also hurts that there was a Stallone version in the 90s because people don't know. Generally, I don't think people know who the hell Judge Dredd is. And their first exposure was this really cheesy version, and it ruined it. So when this came out, it was like the same guy. Wasn't that movie lame? But if you actually did see this movie, you'd be surprised how awesome it was. And Alex Garland wrote this and pretty much helped direct it, I guess. He was very hands-on.
And produced it, yeah.
I think Carl Urban's quoted saying like, "Hey, this is actually Alex Garland's first movie. Think of it as like Dredd, Ex Machina, Annihilation."
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
And it's so
That's cool.
I feel like
that's what I heard.
it's so weird. I feel like there's always connective tissue between our episodes because Domhnall Gleeson was in this movie too.
Yeah.
He was one of the hackers, you
I
know.
felt so bad for that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did not have a good
Carwin
life.
does have a good quote about like why it wasn't critical, like why it wasn't a box office smash, I guess. So it was the result of zero audience awareness, and that the Nobody knew that the movie was being released. Dredd represents a failure in marketing, not filmmaking.
I would
see
say
that.
this
Fuck
about
yeah.
a lot of his stuff though. Like I don't remember Ex Machina even, and that's a good movie and everybody likes it, but I don't remember like trailers for it or ads for it, or people talking about it.
I think the
I
only
feel like if his name's on it, they don't market it. Annihilation was notorious for this, where they just didn't market it at all. But
the only
like,
times
why?
I hear about these movies are when they're like nominated for Academy Awards, with like Ex Machina and Annihilation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have
But
been seeing
it's
more
unfortunate.
for men though.
Me too.
His
Now
new
I
movie-
think
Well,
I
I think
as
Alex
people caught
Garland
on.
has made
Yeah.
a name for himself now, so they're kind of trying to hype him up a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's cool that he was on this. So he wrote this. He obviously he's taking this from a comic book. Now we can get into the lore. We can get into the production of this.
Let's start with just the little bit of world building, because Brandon, you said you were doing some research on the lore a little bit.
I've seen. It's weird because I'm not a huge Judge Dredd fan or anything like that, but I do enjoy this movie. I've seen it 4 times, I think, at this point.
Wow.
And the last time I watched it was actually probably like 6 months ago or something like that. Anyways, I was like, you know what is going on in this world? Because I haven't really thought about it too much. I just know that there's like these cop-like guys who can just judge you on the streets right there, and if they have to, they will kill you, and it's okay. And there's like just no court system. They are the court system. So what I learned is, and this is kind of freaky deaky because of what's going on in the current world today, but World War III happens in, I think, like 2070 or something like that, and in the near future-ish. And it's a nuclear war, and the United States president is erratic, and he's the one that actually starts it. So the whole world just gets decimated. Now, it's in the future, so they had these cities that can withstand... Well, they thought the whole country could withstand nuclear war. They thought their defenses were that good. But it turns out that 3 main areas technically did the best in the United States. What would be the United States today? But it was the East Coast, the West Coast, and Texas. And there were all these like cities that they kind of formed over time after this nuclear war, and they started connecting. So now they're just like 3 cities. They're called like these massive cities.
Mega cities. They're
Mega
called.
cities.
Mega cities, thank you.
Mega.
And the one that we're watching the Dredd take place in is in Mega City 1, which is on the East Coast. So the whole world's doing this thing too. But the United States government has collapsed. So it's run by this judge, like the judges, like they run everything. They are the country now, and they're the only ones trying to enforce like order because there's so many people in these cities. If you're outside of them, it's like the great wastelands, you know.
So
but in the city,
there was 800 million people in Mega City 1.
Yeah, going from like Boston to DC, which is not that big.
right? Well, in the comics, in the lore, it's from Boston to Florida.
Oh, okay.
In the movie, it sounded like they kind of
Condensed
So who
it.
knows? This could take place before they all started connecting too. But either way, they're all compact with people on
Well, you
top
get
of people.
you
Very
get such
Blade Runner-esque.
Yeah, you get such a good shot of the city where it's like basically these giant monolithic buildings, in the middle of the city, and like everybody. That's basically where everybody lives, in these giant towers. And it's really cool. It's an effective shot. Everything is dystopian and slummy. This takes place in 2080, so a little bit after that, the World War III.
So it's 10 years after the war. Yeah,
I think they said like the towers are like a whole kilometer high.
It's insane.
something like
Well,
that.
the one in the movie was like 200 stories.
Yeah. And
Which is pretty up there.
There's 12 crimes every minute and 17,000 per day. And they said the judges said they can only respond to 6% of those crimes, which is really cool.
Seems like they do a pretty good job responding, though. Judge Dredd seems to be pretty.
They kind of gotta
efficient.
pick and choose which ones that they leave all the small fish to fry and kind of pick the bigger ones.
But it was kind of weird. I was reading up on this a little bit too, but like it's one of the older comic books. It came out in 1977 in like a British weekly comic kind of thing. But it said that it's Judge Dredd has been hailed as one of the best satires of American and British culture, and there wasn't much satire in this movie. It was just like dystopian future,
very gritty, very dark,
kill
and
some
brooding.
scumbags.
Paul Verhoeven, this is not.
No, not at all.
Did anybody get Die Hard vibes in some way? Where
I mean, yeah, he's trapped in. They get trapped in this tower.
But the bad guys aren't like ever close to winning in this. Like they just keep losing constantly.
Yeah.
And like everything gets thwarted. Like they don't have the upper hand ever. They even think they do with the rookie character, and it just does not work at all. I mean, she's a fucking badass, and I gotta say, this would make a very awesome 2-player video game.
Dude, the whole time I was thinking they need to make a modern Judge Dredd video game, because there have been a couple Judge Dredd video games in the past. Like there was a first-person shooter,
the video
like
game
2003.
version.
Really?
Yeah,
and you just got to go to towers and stop these like.
Well, I was thinking the whole time. I don't know. For some reason, I had Dead Space in my mind the whole time throughout this, like a behind-the-back third-person. Like,
oh yeah,
okay.
So,
yeah.
Isaac Clarke kind of moves slow, like Judge Dredd. He's like a tank. He's slow, but he's badass. And yeah, a co-op for sure with Anderson as your sidekick. You have these psychic abilities. Like this movie would make a fantastic
Dread
video game.
Space. I just want to say that.
Yeah, absolutely. Dread Space. That is the perfect name.
And there are mega cities on Mars,
Oh.
according to the lore. I saw that as well.
Oh.
So the technology is advanced pretty.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty fast. All right, well, let's get into the actual story. So, what makes this story awesome? Do you guys like the story? Do you guys? I mean, I know it's not.
It's pretty basic.
Yeah.
I mean,
I like it because
pretty
it's simple.
straightforward. Yeah.
It's what it needs to be. It doesn't need to be anything more.
It matches his
Yeah.
personality. Like he's very just
Down to business.
Yeah.
he's very straightforward.
Yeah.
And the movie,
I mean-
the structure of the movie is as well. There's no wasted time. This is an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Hour 35.
Yeah, I
it's
was
quick.
surprised when I saw the runtime of this. It was like 96 minutes, which is exactly the same runtime as the original Judge Dredd movie,
Really?
which is kind of weird. Yeah.
Okay.
I thought that was kind of funny. But yeah, I had no idea what to expect when going into this. I thought maybe I didn't know that it was going to be like locked down to this one location,
Yeah.
which is what I really liked about it.
Yeah.
No.
Like, I
So
didn't
cool.
know it was
Start
gonna
on the
be like
bottom
this-
and work
Yeah.
your way to the top.
Work your way up.
And you know who the boss is. There's thugs
Exactly.
constantly coming at you. And it's just action scene after action scene. And there's no drama at all. There's no like why'd you get into this? Why did tell me about yourself, Dredd. Why'd you get into this? And there's none of that. It's
No,
just,
there's really no backstory.
It's
Like,
he doesn't have time for that.
He doesn't even
It
take
feels
off his
like
helmet.
RoboCop.
no,
Yeah.
right. He doesn't take off his helmet. Exactly.
It is basically RoboCop. Like
Yeah.
no emotion, just straight up law.
I mean, he gets shot at the end and like doesn't even phase him.
No, he just patches it up and he's like, "Yep, okay, I'm good now. Let's back to business." But yeah, I read that Carl Urban apparently was like while he was doing this movie, he stayed in character the entire time. He said he refused to smile or take off the helmet, during any point in filming or between takes. And he kept the scowl the entire time. And apparently a
That
cast
must
member
hurt.
made a joke on set one day, and Urban just gave him the Dredd stare, and the person like immediately apologized. He's like, "Sorry for telling that joke." But it had to be intimidating to
Yeah.
work with him if he was, just being that Dredd character the
It's got to
entire
be
time.
tough. It's got to be tough to do that character and pull it off. And I think he did. I think it's hard to be Batman, and I think it's really hard to be Batman to talk like this, And that's basically what he was doing this whole time.
I couldn't tell if the scowl was just like a Carl Urban thing or if it was a Stallone thing or just like. But then I saw the comic books and it's like that's
That's the thing. Yeah.
That's
the
what he
dude's
looks
face. Like that. He's
Yeah.
just pissed off all the time.
Yeah.
He's giving like the De Niro, like them.
I mean, yeah, all he cares about is delivering his justice.
So in this movie, Dredd is paired up with Rookie Anderson. Rookie Anderson has psychic abilities. They call her like a mutant.
Thankfully,
Mhm.
And
hmm
yeah, and this is one of the offsets of if you survived the nuclear war, most people were deformed. They even talk about that, but she wasn't. She actually just became like an X-Men kind of character. But
Yeah, it's interesting how
that's why she has an ability in this world.
It's interesting how they depict mutants like in this world. You know, everyone's very like against them. Like you could call it racism or bigotry or whatever, but they're very averse to mutants. So she's kind of already got a handicap on her going in, becoming a judge and everything, because people are kind of looking down on her. You can even tell Dredd in the beginning kind of resents her, you know, because she like failed the test to get into being a judge and everything, but they just kind of chose her because she did have these psychic abilities, and they thought that she could be a good asset to them.
When she was introduced, can anybody help me with this one? So when she was introduced, she's doing like her abilities on Dredd, and she's like, I sense anger, I sense control, and I sense something else, and then she gets cut off by the captain.
Mm-hmm.
And that's enough. And he's like, she's a mutant.
It was his kitty cat at home. He's a cat man.
What was it? So in the comics, he's a clone of like the former chief or former president.
Oh.
But he doesn't know he's a clone, or maybe he does, but maybe that's what they're alluding to. Because this was supposed to be one of 3 movies, or they were going to make like a franchise or series out of this, but it just didn't work out. So maybe they were planting something there kind of shit. Like Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi's like, I haven't felt this presence since...
I'll just leave that open.
Like, oh, they're planting shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, leave that open.
Yeah.
Cassandra Anderson, 21. Born in a block 100 meters from the radiation boundary wall. At age 7, she lost both parents to residual fallout cancer. As is usual with orphans, she was given a judge aptitude test at age 9. It classified her as unsuitable, but she was entered into the academy on special instruction. In the academy, her record was never better than borderline. Her final academy score put her 3 percentile points below a pass.
So what's she doing in a uniform?
Rookie Anderson,
Sir,
how many people are observing you?
2.
What can you tell me about the person I'm with?
Male. Another judge.
I can feel anger and control, but
There's something else, something...
behind the control, something...
almost...
Okay, Anderson, held it.
She's a mutant.
The Judges' Council have chosen to overlook her status, so you will too. She's the most powerful psychic we've ever come across by a huge margin. The Judges are losing the war for this city. We believe she could be a major asset. As I said, her final score was only 3 points below a pass. It's marginal.
It's not marginal. She failed.
The girl's getting one more chance. I want you to take her out. Give her one day in the field, supervised. See if she makes the grade. Sink or swim. Chuck her in the deep end.
It's all a deep end.
Dude, we've talked about movies that deserve sequels on this podcast before, and this one, absolutely.
Yes.
Which, devil's advocate, I wish Judge Dredd was a little more hands-on with his dealing of justice. He's just a dude with a gun. He doesn't even have superpowers or anything. I mean, he does have, I guess, via the wiki, he's an excellent marksman, excellent in unarmed combat, and he has bionic eyes. So,
okay.
He's a dude that can shoot good and see good.
Yeah.
But I wish there was more like, I want to see some hand-to-hand action sequences. I wanted to see some suspension of physical justice.
That's why I think this would make a great video game, because of the gun. It's
Well,
the gun
when
play.
he was
The gun is
taking
sweet.
on when he was taking on the judges that were hunting him down near the end there, he took out one of them.
Yeah, he did.
Oh,
With
yeah.
his little karate chop to the throat there.
Oh, that was
What did he
nasty.
say, like, when he chopped him in the, neck?
Choke on it.
Choke on it, yes.
Oh my god. Some good liners and one-liners in this one.
There was also
When he-
one of the worst one-liners in this one.
What was it?
that?
The very final one when he
Oh.
throws.
Yeah.
It just goes, yeah.
I thought about you.
I'm like, that is just
Because that's what Clint did to Little Bill, right?
something like that.
In Unforgiven.
Unforgiven. Yeah.
I'll see you in hell. Yeah.
Really? That's your comeback.
So, but what's cool about this movie is that it moves really fast. Like, we just kind of learn all this stuff.
Yeah.
There's exposition, we meet the rookie. We see that they're paired up. She's being tested today. It's like, okay. And then they go, the peace
Well, I mean, the
trees
first scene of the movie is a fucking car chase with Dredd on his
Yeah.
motorcycle chasing these dudes in the van.
and you're introduced
And that's
to
when we
the
get
cool-
introduced to the slow-mo. Yep.
Yeah. What did you think of that slow-mo?
I thought it was a really cool effect. Like everything gets all sparkly, and apparently time moves at 1% of its normal speed, which is kind of a cool concept. Apparently something else that I learned is the slow-mo sound effect is based on a Justin Bieber song that was slowed down to 1/800th of its normal speed.
Damn.
So
Oh no,
it's a good fun fact for you.
you've been
Yeah.
beebed. I wonder which one it was.
I don't know. I mean, 2012, Justin Bieber at the time was popular
Yes.
for sure. So I could see that.
I feel like the slow mo shots were definitely like, well, here, look, we're in 3D. Because I think you get Lena Headey's character, like, she's in a bath in her first shot, and she like flicks up the water, and it's like slowly going. It's like, I could see that in 3D. Like,
Yeah, I could see how
every time
it
they're
would play well.
blowing out the smoke or whatever. But I also thought it made the graphic violence even more graphic because
Oh, yeah.
instead of just like a dude getting shot in the face and it's gone in half a second, like it's taken like 3 or 4 seconds for the bullet to going through his face, and then you see the ripple on his it got gross.
Yeah, they definitely emphasize the violence in this movie for sure.
Yes.
Using the slow-mo and just, people are getting shot to the face, people are getting their heads smashed on the ground, and their brains are flying out.
I thought this was kind of cool thinking about the violence where the acts that Mama performs, and this is the main villain. She's the one that's taking over Peachtree's the mega tower.
the block,
Mhm.
I think. Is what they call it.
Yeah.
The block, yeah.
Yeah, she's running her drug cartel kind of gang operation there out of there. But there's like these 3 guys, I don't know, they're from like another gang or whatever, but they double crossed or did something, they got captured. She wants to skin these guys and then inject them with the slow-mo drug. What's it called again?
Just slow mo.
It's called slow-mo.
Slow-mo,
It is
right?
called
It is called
slow-mo.
slow-mo. Okay, yeah. Why did I think there's a name for it? They take it and then they throw them over the balcony from the top floor. So they're falling all the way down to the ground level where there's basically like a courtyard for everybody, to send a message to everybody, just like that she owns the place. And it's so violent because you're like skinned alive, and they have to go through this torturous, slow 1%. Like time goes by like 1% slow death. That's just gotta suck, and that's what happens to her. Like that's what happens at the end. It's like the thing that she starts with is what kind of how it ends in the same manner, in the same way. And I thought that was, I thought that was kind of a cool,
Dredd knew.
violent piece of art.
Like he knew that's how she did those guys in. So
I love the shot of her, like when she's hitting the concrete, it's through like shot through plexiglass almost.
Yeah,
And you can just like
Yeah.
see her like split, and it's like super
they
nice.
must have
yeah.
put some kind of prosthetic, like something underneath the skin to make it look like skin, so that it would split open for that to.
Yeah.
unless that's CG, but that was cool.
it was
That was a really cool
when
effect.
she's coming towards the camera, like you almost don't want to look at it because you know
Yeah.
it's coming. But that there's so much blood
And it's
that
all in
gets covered.
it's all in slow motion, so you get that nice shot of her face squishing and then the blood coming out.
The blood
but yeah, that
did make an X like Dredd's helmet too. If you didn't notice that.
Oh,
I did
Nice
not
little
notice
thing
that.
I saw while I was watching. It's kind of interesting.
I got to bring it up again. When we were doing our villains episode, I brought up like to have a good villain, you need a good villain death as well, and this was definitely one of those.
It's very
for sure.
fitting.
very cathartic.
fitting for- yes.
Yeah,
to see
definitely.
her. The one thing I do wish about this movie, I wish they didn't use CGI blood.
Yeah, in some of the slow mo shots, like it's very red. You can definitely tell that it's like
It's not a squib.
fake.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree with you there. Some of the effects, especially during the slow-mo, were a little bit distracting, but I thought overall it looked pretty good.
It's a 10-year-old movie now, so
It is 10 years old. I didn't think it was.
That's crazy.
I was like,
Yeah.
wow, man. 10 years.
I'm sure they did this on purpose too, but another thing that I noticed when I was watching it is it's very, very grainy. Like they used a very heavy like film grain or something on this movie because there were some shots where it looked almost like, I don't know if it was just the TV or Amazon Prime or something, but I feel like it was because they used such a heavy film grain on some of the shots in this movie that it almost looked like just bad, muddy, pixelated a little bit.
I don't know if it's the era or what, but I feel like it had that, I don't know, almost like a Fight Club look where like it's kind of yellowish.
Well, a lot of the shots were really dark too,
Yeah.
so you got the film grain on top of the dark
Okay, maybe
shots.
that's what
It makes it look a little bit muddy, but overall, I think it was a good looking movie, shot very well.
Yeah, I thought the sound was good. I thought the visuals were good. I thought even the aesthetic, like I don't know anything about the comics, but I have to assume that these bikes, they look kind of retro, like they were drawn in the 80s or something like that.
The
So-
Lawmasters.
I don't know, but I like a iconic look. Like just own it, whatever it is. Just have a cool looking movie. And at first, I thought Dredd's helmet looks stupid because like, how can you see out of that thing? Like, it looks uncomfortable. It's like Boba Fett. It's like, how do you see out of this? Like, come on, like it's got to be better with that helmet off. But after a while, I was like, he's actually kind of cool looking. What I really like is how he's like kind of like this Batman, where like he's just at one point like she's just never in control of the situation, and she's constantly getting fucked over. She's watching her like mini bosses get taken out one by one, but when she does the that chain gun scene, she just blows out that whole floor.
Mm-hmm.
He like comes back and he like chucks something over there. I don't know if it was
Chucks the
a grenade
guy
or
over the edge.
Oh, that's what he threw her. Yeah.
He throws her commander guy.
And
then
then
he just turns around and walks away.
And just turns, but like you don't even see him. He's already walking away. Like he doesn't give a fuck. He's so badass in this movie.
Why
is
doesn't
so
he take a
menacing.
shot
I love
there
it.
though? That's one thing I wrote down. I was like, why isn't like he knows she's right over there? Just like take a shot.
I don't know.
because more
Maybe he's
movie
just
has
trying
to
to be cool.
happen.
Yeah, Dredd
Right.
has to do other cool shit.
There's still another half hour.
I was gonna say, judging by like that incendiary shot that he shot at those dudes when they were going
that
at him
was great.
in the phone booth,
He trapped him.
he took out like 10 guys in one shot. And like,
It's just like
I know we mentioned the gun earlier, but the voice activated gun with all the different modes and everything,
Love it.
such a cool weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's the first like when there's the van chase and he's like chasing the guy in the mall and he says like hot shot to you're a hot shot, and then like it activates the like fireball or whatever it is. It goes in the guy's mouth and like explodes his head.
Melts his face. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Oh, that's
sick.
right. Oh, that
their
whole
intro,
line
though.
was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was real creative use of talking to your gun while taking out like doing like a Dirty Harry style.
Mm-hmm.
Hot shot. Yeah, that's fucking dope. I like the slang that they have in this show. Like if you listen for it, like they'll say like the meat wagon or whatever, but they'll have like I think it's called the recycs. So basically, because people are it's so overpopulated, they have like a Soylent Green kind of thing going on where it's kind of gray where you don't know what they're doing with these bodies. Because if you hear the robots as they're scooping up the people to say the courtyard will be available or back in operation in 30 minutes. Like people are just used to this shit. And the people get taken away and they get dumped. But there's one of the main proteins that everybody eats off of is like kind of like their spam, but it's meatless. And they don't really understand all the ingredients that are in it. So it was just, I don't know. This movie's tapping into that shit. But that's kind
That's
of what's
weird,
going on.
creepy
And
future shit right there.
it is.
Yeah, I was looking at like the background of when he was chasing the guy through the mall in the beginning, and one of the advertisements is called like Hottie Dog, where it's like a hot dog in hot pants and like an American like flag like cowboy hat.
Yeah, that's good. There needs to be more of that kind of shit in this movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's like the satire that you'd think that would be from the comics that they would put into this, but this is literally just like a meat. Dredd is the meat grinder, and the
Yes.
scumbag druggies are the meat. He's just chewing through them. I don't know. What do you guys think of the girl cop?
She was cool.
Anderson, yeah, she was cool.
Anderson, yeah. I liked all the scenes with her. I especially liked the scene where, well, it was kind of, I don't know why they decided to drag around this K guy the entire time. Like, I feel like they could have just, I mean, yeah, they wanted to interrogate him and whatever, but he was just slowing him down the entire time. It was like a damn escort mission in a video game.
Kind of said like,
She's, like,
hey, what are we
tiny.
supposed to?
Like, I thought she was too small. Like, I don't know. Just in general, my logical brain's like, this chick is too small to be leading around like a 240-pound guy who could just like overpower at any second. But
well, it was just weird
else.
because like in the first, I don't even know how long, it felt like the first 45 minutes or an hour after they captured him, like he didn't say one word. Like he was just going along with them. Like you would have thought that he would have like been yelling out to give away, you know, their location and everything.
I wonder if like Garland was writing out the story and he was finding other ways to project some of the lore in a more natural way. It's like, oh, what if they capture this guy? Because he can kind of talk about what the villain's gonna do. Because he kind of talks about
exposition
that, like,
kind of guy.
Yeah, he's like, you
yeah,
know, like
that's
his
true.
Because he does two things. One, he kind of says like, hey, this is how violent they are here, and this is what they'll do to like girls, or whatever. But then it also gives her a reason to kind of mess with his brain. He's like, but I'm fucked up. She's like, you're fucked up, but you're not fucked up like me. And they're having like this battle of the wits kind of thing. All to just show that this is her strength, is that she's not physically strong enough, but she's more of a specialist. I think she's somebody that you don't just send out in her own sector like Dredd. Dredd has a reputation. He's a badass guy, and he's built to like kind of withstand a lot of stuff. Yeah, she's much smaller, but she also has this ability, so I think she would complement harder missions, you know, bring the specialist or something like that.
Very good point.
But I don't know if that's the case or not. I don't know.
The mind games, I think, were kind of cool. Like the mind reading,
yeah, it was cool.
like when they hide out in that chick's apartment, and before she leaves, she sees the picture, and then she kind of figures out that the first person that she killed and shot in the face was the lady's husband who just helped him out. When her and that guy, like, she goes into his mind to get like the code for the door to get upstairs or whatever, and like they have a little back and forth where he tries to push back against her in his own mind, and she just kind of she brings up a thing that Mama did previously. That
she like ripped out his eyes and put like cyber eyes in.
Yeah, there was that guy. Well,
Dom Hall Gleason, is that who you're talking about?
Oh yeah.
Well, there was that part, and then part where Lena Headley, you know, bit off the other guy's dick at a certain point.
Oh,
right, because right after that, that's when he takes like her gun or something like that, right? Right after that, after he thinks he like got his dick bit off, he snaps out of it, and then he grabs the pistol to shoot her, but you're not allowed to touch a judge's gun.
I think that's later.
Yeah, that's after she's.
That was later when she got captured.
Yeah.
Oh,
this was the first time.
They do this twice. That's
yes,
right.
this was the first time when Anderson went into his mind, when they're in that classroom, and she was just kind of trying to get more info out of him and what really was going on there.
It was much shorter.
That's where she finds out. Right. That's where she finds out like the whole slow-mo operation is actually in the tower and everything.
Okay.
And then after that, he pisses himself. So,
her job was accomplished.
Yeah. I'm just happy to see more Avon Barksdale, because that guy was in The Wire, the lieutenant.
Dude, yeah, I haven't seen him in anything in a while.
He's been in like the Ant-Man movies, so that's been it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
He was great in this movie, I thought.
So I have to bring up, have you guys seen The Raid?
No,
I have not.
But I am aware. I've seen
also heard good things
the big
about
scene in the intro. The intro scene.
Because this movie, like, it has so many parallels to The Raid. Because that movie came out like a year prior. It's the SWAT team going into it. It's another action movie that takes place all in an apartment building, and it's a SWAT team going up to the top of a building where a drug dealer is hiding up at the top.
Yep.
And it's like there's one super cop who like is really good at karate though, or like martial arts.
Okay.
Right.
So it's much more like, it's very Dredd-esque. It's like a Malaysian movie from 2011, I want to say.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But like people have compared Dredd to that movie as like the American remake of it.
But one of our buddies, Chris Logan, he said to us that Dredd was written before the Raid.
Yeah.
But Raid came out before.
That would make sense. Yeah. It's just
That's what
it's like one of those like kind of like Deep Impact and Armageddon. That weird concept of twin movies that come out like the super similar concepts. Like
you have you have the one that we talked about, The Prestige, and the other one was the
Illusionist.
The Illusionist.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same kind of
what
thing.
What are the chances of those coming out? So that could be the case.
Yeah.
Both great movies.
Yeah.
So what haven't we talked about as far as the production of this? I think we talked about the visuals, we talked about the acting, we talked about the audio. I think there's a ton of good quotes in this.
It is, yeah. There are some good one-liners.
You know, I think each of the engagements is to me, it's just like a friggin' level, and there's a boss at the end because you're just constantly, little by little, picking off these henchmen, and you're never even like concerned that he's gonna die. I don't know, maybe when he gets shot from behind, but it's called Dredd.
Yeah,
he's not dying. So how's he gonna get out of
it?
this?
Doesn't even like slow him down when he gets shot. Like I was looking for it, and it's just like okay, like he's just that like unstoppable beast, like Terminator-esque.
It was like
kind of presence.
When the other judge shot him, it was like he switched over to his armor-piercing rounds or whatever, and it put a hole in the wall like the size of like a golf ball. And like I'm thinking, like if that hits like a human body, like I don't know if you're gonna get out of that.
Probably gonna be pretty messed up. Yeah.
Dredd though. Dredd's skin don't tear. Come on now.
No, I was surprised. Because I'd never seen this movie, but I guess I wasn't expecting him to get shot like that. And I'm like, but like you said, the movie's called Dredd. He can't die. He's not gonna die. No. And he just whips out his little med kit and fills in his hole, staples it shut. Yep. And now he's good to go.
I want to hit on these bad judges that appear, which I think is a cool concept. I thought that was cool.
I did like this concept.
30 cops,
well, I didn't know.
30 cops.
Yeah, I didn't know
1 million
where
1 million units or credits, whatever you say.
Credits, yeah. Like I didn't know where that was going at first when Mama was like, "Oh, calling the cops," but then I'm like, "Oh, okay, yep." She's gonna pay off some other judges to kill off Dredd, which good idea on her part, I guess.
1 million credits.
1 million.
You have a problem with the judge. You know who he is?
No.
I do. 1 million. Kaplan, protection detail on client. Champ, Alvarez. We're flushing him out.
You got it.
Where's the other one? The rookie.
We got her here.
Dead or alive?
Alive.
Make her dead.
Now, Dave, one of them was a pretty short woman on the team. I noticed that. And I was just like, what is she going to do? Like, she's pretty small. I mean, unless she's a good shot. But I noticed that because, like, there's 3 pretty big judges in this one woman. So I'm like, maybe she's just going to have, she's going to be like a ninja or an acrobat. And
I don't know if...
And I was waiting for it. But when Anderson encounters her, she just, like, reads her, like, yeah, you're fucking crooked. Guns are down. I thought that was cool. I love when you think there's going to be a fight. Because I'm like, what is her bag? Like, what is she going to do? She's not physically menacing. She's got to have some kind of moves.
And you know she's coming in with, like, the upper hand where, like, she thinks she's going to catch her off guard.
Right.
And, like,
Right. I'm guessing they sent the other, like, woman judge to kind of, relate to Anderson. That was kind of their whole plan to get her to trick her.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's what she said to Mama was that's why she wanted to go, because she was a judge, and once she hesitates, and she's just going to shoot her. But
take the shot.
Right.
Didn't hesitate.
She was like, I have her in the bag no matter what.
Okay. And then the other judge, the one that actually does shoot Dredd, they must have casted that guy because of his mouth. Like, he was very animated with his mouth specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, give credit to Carl Urban, because the guy never takes his mask off. And that's a big thing, because we've seen The Mandalorian helmet off. The Halo TV series just came out. I haven't seen it yet. But the Master Chief takes his helmet off the first episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Stallone wouldn't keep the fucking helmet on. You know,
Well, you see that in like most superhero
Judge Dredd.
like most superhero movies, like you don't their helmets on for like the final battle or like first half of the final battle, then immediately it's off.
Yeah, and it's like I remember in Game of Thrones, the Hound, the first like episode in the first season, he's like wearing this big metal helmet that's
he had
in
the
his
face. Didn't
but then he never. Yeah, he had this messed up face, but then he just took it off because the actor didn't like wearing it. And I was just like, Carl Urban is like, damn, I'm not the biggest name, you know. I kind of look like Brad Pitt's cousin or something, but but you know, like if it does well, I want my face shown, and he
apparently
never takes it off.
Carl Urban was like a big fan of the comics back in the day, so he really, really wanted to be like faithful to the actual comics. Because Dredd in the comics never takes his helmet off either, so he wanted to make sure that he kept the scowl and kept the helmet on the entire time that he was filming. So definitely some dedication to the role there. And also this shows how badass Carl Urban is. He also insisted on riding like the motorcycle himself. Like he didn't have a stuntman do any of those scenes. Okay. Like he did all those motorcycle scenes himself, which I thought was really cool.
I did not know that. I love that stuff. Okay.
And he's still been talking about this a decade later. Like he wants to get like sequels greenlit and or a TV show. Apparently, I read a quote saying Garland doesn't want anything to do with the Dredd universe anymore because this production was so grueling. Is what the quote is.
Okay. Yeah, he might have like
interesting.
He might just have, I don't know, like
well,
just like a bad experience, and he's just
because he was just the writer, and then he has to come in and like finish the movie because it was Pete Travers.
Yeah, Pete Travis was the director. Yeah.
It was really interesting when I was watching it on Plex. I like ripped my Blu-ray and then like put it on my Plex server. When I like had it like all queued up to play, it was like directed by Alex Garland. Was like the primary credit.
Really?
Even though it's like not in the movie, but it was like on Plex as that.
Interesting.
Okay. Yeah, it is interesting.
Yeah, I feel like definitely Alex Garland takes ownership over this movie for sure. Because like I feel like he's the name that you think of most attached to this movie. Because I mean, Pete Travis, I looked up his credits and didn't really recognize anything else that he's really done. So I just thought that was interesting.
I just want Carl Urban to have more success. I really like this guy. I like him as
I'm looking
the
at
Butcher
his...
and the Boys and Aemir and Lord of the Rings. Like,
I'm looking at his IMDb and
Doom.
Like he's got shit that goes back to like 91, 92. Like he's been. This is not.
He's had a decent amount of
Yeah, he's been around for a while. He was in Xena Warrior Princess, which
really?
Oh, okay.
I didn't even fucking know. He played Julius Caesar.
I feel like he's in a lot of big things, but he's not really the leading man.
He was
in a
Thor
lot of
Ragnarok.
things.
Did you know that?
Oh yeah.
Thor,
Scrooge?
like the
He's the one
Chronicles
that
of
switches
Riddick,
back. Yeah. Oh, was he?
The Bourne Supremacy, Doom, Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
Both of the Star Trek movies.
He's great in Star Trek.
The new reboots.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And he did Dredd in between basically the first Star Trek movie and Star Trek Into the Darkness.
But I feel like if I say Carl Urban, you're going to be like, who's that?
I feel like he's gotten a bigger name since The Boys.
Yeah.
Like The Boys is a big show.
That was my first introduction to him. Like I had no idea who he was before that.
He's got one of those faces where like you see him and he looks familiar, but you don't know like where you've seen. Because in Xena, or not in Xena, in Lord of the Rings, he's got like long blonde hair and he's clean cut. And then Dredd, you only see fucking like 1/6 of his face.
Yeah, chin.
Like I said, he's been in a decent amount of big franchises, but he's never like the leading man, you know?
Right.
So I think The Boys was kind of his breakout role where he kind of gets that
top billing
big role. Yeah, exactly.
If we're going to be talking about performances, then we got to talk about Lena Headey being in this as well as the villain. I think that's cool, you know, like because I really only knew her from Game of Thrones and her part in 300. Yeah, that was it. And I think she's great in Game of Thrones.
You did get a Cersei vibe to her, and then it's just like
because this would have been like around the time they started filming Game of Thrones, probably because I was like, like after the first season.
Yeah, around that time.
We'll find out.
But she was,
she's just she's definitely a really good villain in this one. She's just she puts off that gross vibe. Like she's just
It's
you
just
know,
like the
gross
makeup
to look
work.
at here.
The makeup work on
Yeah.
her face, like that scar looks like nasty.
And she's got like those meth teeth, you know.
yeah.
Oh my God,
Black
I
on her
love it.
teeth. Yeah. Too much slow mo.
yeah, meth happens.
Yeah, I think they even said that she survived the nuclear war. Obviously, she did at her age from the it's like 10 years from that, but stuff like. But yeah, like I liked her I liked her history. I like that she's been in the system. I like how she just has a nickname Mama and all that stuff, and I like that. I love when I'm going down like the whole video game thing, but when the antagonist has access to a microphone to talk to you and they can just talk to everybody, and she's like using the whole like, everybody, we'll get this over with quick, stay out of our way, if you work for me, get out there and I pay you or whatever, take them out. There's 2 of them, and I like that later on Dredd gets a hold of it and he's talking back at her, and I think that's just, I don't know, there's just so much more to this movie than you think for an action movie about Dredd, and there's just a lot of cool things that happen. Creativity is really good, but I like that back and forth. I thought they didn't spend really any time together, and then when he did get to her, I mean, it's, I don't know. What did you guys think of when the villain and the hero actually meet, and he has to stop her? What did you guys think of that scene?
I enjoyed it. It was because like you're not gonna like have a big shootout between Mama because she like isn't an action. Not she's an action star, but she's not like leading the charge.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean her muscle is basically her weapon, like all
Yeah.
of her crew,
Right.
And by that point, Dredd's basically killed them all.
yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But it
So
was
she's
kind of
kinda
cool. I
left
thought
by herself.
he was going to try and shoot it off of her hand. I thought that was going to be his move, but basically he just relied on like, oh, that thing doesn't have the range to reach all the way back up here to blow up the building. Was his gamble, I'm assuming.
Right. Yeah, it was a pretty big gamble for sure.
50 floors of people.
Because he would have been blown up as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
but
I think he's the greater good kind of guy, where he sees a homeless guy, he's like, you better not be here when I come back. Which
That was pretty-
I got his warning and he got squished. Should have listened to Jet. But
Yeah,
but he's like, I got 3 homicides to take care of. Like, he's still there. He still is about the 3 guys being killed. Like, even when Mama's going after them, he brings that up. But worst, like, she's like, what do we do with this guy that we're carrying around? Like, isn't he a liability? Should we just whack him so that way we don't have to deal with this guy? He's like, nope. He's a suspect in the 3 killings that we're here for. Meanwhile, you've already killed like 15, 16 people.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. Like,
hasn't quite gotten there yet.
you've done more killing.
Well, the penalty for trying to attempted murder on a judge is death. So he has basically, in his mind, he has the right to kill all these people.
Right.
I think that might be part of like the satire coming through is
Yep.
he's killed 20 people, but he's saving this one guy just
Right.
because
I think you're absolutely right there. Yeah. And if you notice, like, he's constantly saying isobox, so that's a thing. It's a solitary confinement.
yeah, you just
That's what, I kind of.
So that guy, if he complies and he goes and gives them information, then he doesn't die, but he has to stay in solitary confinement with no parole forever. Right? Was that the offer to him?
Mhm.
Or maybe not him. Maybe that was the guy that was holding the hostage.
that's the first guy, yeah.
That's the guy,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
hot shot in the mouth. Yeah, but still, it's just. Could you imagine isolation for your whole life? I mean, probably would rather die.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's
Probably.
worse?
Just a note on Lena. Started Game of Thrones in 2011. Dredd came
Okay.
out in 2012. So
Okay.
probably
I
a
was gonna say,
little
they're
bit
probably
of overlap.
filming like
Yeah.
right at the
Yeah.
same time. Yeah.
But also, I might note a great voice in He-Man. Masters of the Universe. She plays Evil Lynn. But she's got other things in there. She's in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which I didn't know, and some other stuff. Fantastic performance here.
Lena Headey is a voice actor. You're telling me?
Yeah.
Huh.
I feel like I've heard her voice
Okay.
and stuff.
Netflix put out the Masters of the Universe one. This one, Kevin Smith kind of like rebooted He-Man. It's kind of it's a cool take. It's got that kind of Castlevania animation to it, but we're not here to talk about He-Man.
No, we're here to continue our conversation about how Dredd takes out Lena Headey right? Mama throws her off, and he injects the slow-mo in her mouth, and I thought it was so fucking... I mean, the first time I saw this, I was like, fuck yeah, dude! and it was just a cool... And the music is beautiful, and it's like a... I don't know.
You hear like the twinkling of the glass as she's falling, like slowly, like a little wind chime.
She's falling backwards at first, but then it's like she just accepts it, and she just like leans into it, kind of
swan
thing.
dives it.
Just goes with it.
Yeah, it was definitely nice to see some poetic justice there. Like you said, that's how we kind of are introduced to her, is starting out with killing these dudes, giving them the slow-mo and throwing them off the ledge, and she gets hers at the end there with the same fate. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't we wrap up the conversation by saying a couple of things that maybe we think is what makes this movie better than you would expect. You know, if you're like, yeah, I saw this movie. Like, what is it about this movie that's awesome? Who wants to go first? What?
Carl.
The man. The main character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely Carl Urban. His performance for sure as Dredd, dark, brooding. Just think Batman, but almost more serious than Batman.
Well, more
Batman
RoboCop, I think.
Yeah,
because he's just like
too.
black and white.
Yeah, he's like an unstoppable force, for sure. But going into it, like I said, I knew nothing about this really, other than what Brandon told me. But going into it, I didn't know that it was gonna be. I really liked the whole like lockdown situation, like, and they basically just have to escape. Like it did feel very video gamey, like we said, and I kind of like that about it, where they're just rising to the floor and they got to meet the boss at the top, and because their main goal from the beginning, it's a simple plot, but how they get there is really the what makes this movie great. So I thought it was nice. It was tight. I liked that it was short too. I feel like they could have dragged it out a lot more than they did. Focus more on the world building and everything, but they kind of just did a couple lines in the beginning and let the story take over. So that's what I really liked about it.
I really like the world building aspect of it. Like, you don't get a whole lot of it, but the world feels very lived in, and like, here are the world rules. Just go. Like, you don't, like, no one really stops to question it. Like, it's kind of a fascist police state a little bit, but like,
yeah, absolutely.
They have a reason to be fascist because people are friggin' savages.
Yeah.
They're the only ones to keep the order.
Just a tight, like, 5-minute act one. It's kind of like Fury Road, Mad Max, like, where it starts in act 2 almost. It's just all action from there on out.
Yeah, it moves quick. It's like it's like comfort food for action. If you like action, you just want to see something like a good action movie. Nothing with bad scenes or annoying characters in it. It's just like, this is a good action flick. That's probably why I've seen it 4 or 5 times.
Nice.
No fat on it. It's just pure.
No. There's
not at all.
A lot of grotesque violence, good action. I wish Dredd got a little more hands-on, but I don't know. I didn't know what the setting was going to be heading into it, and I think the post-apocalyptic, nasty. It's cyberpunk future, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a really good setting for it. You get to Dredd's always got like a surprise as he's going up like the tower. Like, oh, here I'm going to use this like flashbang bomb that he's got in his belt, and he's got like a microphone tucked into it or whatever. And then next one he's going to use this gas, and this one he's going to use he's got all his little Batman gadgets as he's going up the tower. So it was cool. It was like you said, like a no fluff action movie where it's just like 93 minutes of straight massacre and drug dealers.
Awesome. Well, yeah, if that's all we got to say about Dredd, then we can move on to Act 3. That was a good conversation. I enjoyed talking about this one, and I'm glad that we watched this one. Brandon, that you finally got us to watch this and got us to talk about this.
Talk about it. I didn't. You know what? I didn't know I was a big Alex Garland fan until we started doing the show. I'm like, keep picking like his movies.
I mean,
good.
The same thing happened with me and Christopher Nolan. Like, I'm like, oh, like everything this guy does is kind of fucking amazing. So.
Yeah.
Quick shout out again. We mentioned him earlier, but was it Doomhall Gleason? Like
Domhnall Gleeson.
I don't know how to say that. He spells it funny. But he was great as like the nerdy hacker that was like abused and victimized by
weird
Elena.
looking.
Well, his like bionic eyes, he got his eyes jammed out and got bionic eyes put in. Like poor fucking guy, but he was great in this too, even though it was a smaller role.
Yeah, he doesn't die. Felt bad for him.
Good for him.
Yep, he was he got out scot-free with that one, but
All right.
cool. Yeah, with that, we'll end Act 2 and move on to Act 3 with our game when we come back.
Right after this.
Right after these messages. And we're back with Act 3. We're doing a little game this time. I had something prepared, but it didn't quite work out, so we're falling back to an old favorite that we love to do with guests, and that is 20 questions. This time it is video game edition. Okay. So in case people don't know how 20 questions works, basically you get 19 questions and one guess at the end to guess the video game. Only yes or no questions. Basically, you guys are going to work together to try to guess the game that I am thinking about. So, with that,
Last time we did this was a good one too. We got it on the 20th guess.
That's true.
For
I think it was
Guitar Hero.
Half-Life 2. I think.
Yeah.
I think it was Half-Life 2.
Yeah, okay.
I picked last time. But yes, let the questioning begin. Whoever wants to start.
Did this come out after the year 2000?
This come out? Yes, it did.
Did it come out?
Was this developed in Japan?
Ooh, good question. No, it was not.
Does the main character wear a helmet?
No.
Is this a console exclusive?
Nope.
Do you shoot a gun in this game?
No. I don't believe so.
Skyrim.
Automatically Skyrim.
I mean, yep. Everything adds up.
So far.
Do we know the genre?
No, we don't.
Nope. You know, it was after 2000, not developed in Japan.
Yeah.
No helmet.
helmets.
Well, you don't shoot a gun. Yeah. No
Don't
helmet.
shoot a gun and no helmets. Once you wear helmets in
And not a
Skyrim-
console exclusive.
Not a console. Yeah. So that's 5.
Was this on a Nintendo console?
This was not released for a Nintendo console.
All right. Okay. So
They
PlayStation,
don't,
Xbox.
They don't put gross stuff on Nintendos. It's a family console. Turn the blood into sweat.
Did this come out after 2010?
Yes, it did.
Okay. Yeah.
Does this game have online multiplayer?
No, it does not.
Single player game.
Single player game.
Tomb
after
Raider.
2010.
Should we start doing genre? Like, it's got to be.
We could burn through.
There's
we
no
gotta be
gun.
careful.
There's no gun. So
There's
like,
sports. There's sports games. There's violence games. There's exploring games. Open world. I'm trying to think. Like, how could we?
Like racing games.
Remember, the question was, I don't know if this is whatever. The question was, do you shoot guns in this game? The answer was no.
Uh-huh. So does the ship shoot
do
guns?
I tell somebody to shoot guns?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah. Fuck.
Fucking
What does
spy.
that mean?
Fucking spy hunter.
I don't think it's a Spy Hunter after 2010.
No. that game needs a fucking comeback.
But if it's a simulator, right? Like, let's just say it's not StarCraft, but let's just say like you could click units and tell them to go attack something, and they do
Yeah.
the shooting. So they're
That's
shooting in the
true.
game, but you're not shooting. So, Halo, I'm shooting. So it's definitely not Halo, but it could be Halo Wars. No, it's not exclusive. And that's a shit. Is PC? What if it's Xbox and PC? Is that exclusive or is that not exclusive?
I wouldn't consider that. Yeah.
Okay.
So you got 8 questions so far.
Okay.
I want to ask, like simulation, but it seems too broad.
No,
but
we can work off of that.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Is it a simulation?
No.
All right. I'm going to put Forza and Gran Turismo in that because they're racing simulators, right?
Sure. Whatever.
I
they're
feel
going
like
for that
mainline
realistic.
Forza is a
Yeah, it depends what you're talking about.
or like Horizon.
Not Horizon, just main motorsport.
Yeah.
Where you can get really into the physics of stuff. I'll say that's simulator. All right. So action probably.
It's not Sim Tower. We know that.
It's after 2010 and it's on Xbox and PlayStation. It has no multiplayer. Do you play as a female?
No.
It's not Tomb Raider. Well, I guess you shoot guns in Tomb Raider and
Mass Effect games, right?
You shoot guns for sure.
Oh yeah.
You can also be a female in Mass Effect.
Oh yeah, shoot, that's right. And I'm playing a female in my replay of it.
Shepherd. It's the best part.
It's 10. Halfway through.
I don't think we're very close either.
Is this the first? Go ahead.
Can you customize your character in this game?
Can you be more specific?
Like,
is there a character creation? Is that what you're saying?
yeah, is there a character creator?
The answer to that question is no.
So
okay. I want to ask something. I don't know.
I'm just thinking like, what if you're not one character? You're a group of characters.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering what like the action of the game is. If there's no guns and it's not a simulator.
Do we know that if there's even a story? Like, what if it's like, I don't know.
We don't know yet.
Is there a story to this video game? Like a real story?
Every game has a story.
All right, fine.
Hold on. Now,
fine. All right, fine. Don't.
I mean, it could be like, is it narrative driven?
It doesn't have any multiplayer, so it has to have a story too, right?
Yeah.
So there's a beginning, there's an end. Is this an?
Yes, that's how they go.
There's a beginning. There's an end.
Maybe even a middle.
Maybe
Somewhere in there.
That depends. You can skip over it. Is this an open world game?
Ooh, I like that.
No. I'll say no.
No.
Okay, so
It's not open world. So it's going to be like linear, level driven,
like
or scene driven, or something like that.
It could be like a platformer.
Go ahead and ask if
It's
you
true.
want.
I mean, you don't know perspective. You don't know anything really.
Is this a third-person game?
Yes, it is.
Ooh, okay.
that was a good. Yes, very good.
Because I've been thinking first person pretty much this whole time, so that's making me.
So it's a third-person game on these. How many are we at?
13.
I don't want to waste one, but I want to ask.
It's American made. I think
Third
American
person.
Studios, or well, it's not
Is-
made in Japan.
Is the main? I guess I don't. Is their main weapon? I don't know. I want to ask if it's a sword, if it's like a action game, because if it's third person,
Oh, like God of War.
if it's
Oh,
third
not God
person,
of War,
it's got to be
but
Yeah.
action. Is it? I guess is this an action game?
Yeah. Yes.
you're probably playing as a dude who's got like axes.
Well, you're not a female, so
Right, we know you're not
Yeah,
a
or
female.
could be
It could
like
be
a-
an alien or a robot,
Could be an Assassin's
but you're not
Creed,
shooting stuff.
but that came out on Nintendo.
Okay.
Did it?
Did it? I don't know.
some of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like they released the Ezio collection, whatnot.
Yeah.
Mm.
Part of me thinks it's like Arkham. The Arkham.
Oh, dude, hold on a tick. Is this based off a franchise?
It is based off a franchise. That's 15.
So, I mean, it does line up with, I don't know, Arkham Asylum, but I don't know if that came out on Nintendo or not.
I believe it did, actually.
Eventually, I think. Yeah, there's like the Arkham City like Armored Edition for the Wii U at launch.
Grand Theft Auto 5? Does that work?
has
Don't
a
have
lot of
that's guns and multiplayer.
Very many guns. But I was thinking, like, we said God of War or like not Ninja Gaiden or like a Dark Souls or something like that. I guess Dark Souls
Could be Dark Souls.
has
Dark
online
Souls.
multiplayer though.
Yeah.
Oh, it does. That's right. It has the online co-op.
Do you
Fudge.
kill people in this game?
Yes. 16.
Uh-oh. You're getting pretty close here.
Mm-hmm. So it is kind of action-y. Third-person action-y where you kill people.
Jedi Fallen Order.
That's
Think about that. Does that work? It's based off a franchise.
Is that open world?
Made in Japan. You
Not
use
really.
lightsabers.
It's kind
Not really.
kind of open world, but not
It's,
really.
it's more level-based.
It's kind of open world, but it's not open world. It's just big-ass levels.
Did that come out for Nintendo?
Shadow of War is another one I can think of. Shadow of Mordor, stuff like that. Batman, obviously.
Batman, you don't kill people, though.
Oh, that's right.
You
said-
just
yeah, you
horribly
actually
maim them and concuss them into the
All right.
ground.
Yeah.
You just physically ruin their lives, but they're okay.
All right, fudge. Okay. So how do we narrow it down? We only have a couple questions, really, to kind of.
We got 3 questions left, and then we got to go.
3 questions and a guess. Yep.
Is this Star Wars or is this Lord of the Rings? Is the next question, and then we throw it out there. I don't know what else to do here.
Yeah.
Are there other franchises I'm missing that fit this bill? Without guns?
I'm trying to think
Weird,
of stuff
actually.
without guns, which is the tough part.
Yeah. Third-person game without guns.
I don't think Eric has played the Shadow of Mordor or Shadow of War game to know much about them to pick it, but I know he's played Jedi Fallen Order. He's comfortable with Star Wars. I can see him picking that. And it has everything. It doesn't have any of the other stuff, right? You're not a woman, no online.
Yeah.
It's not on a Nintendo. See, it's not on Nintendo, right?
No.
No? Okay. No, that makes sense.
No, I don't think so.
Part of a franchise, yes. You do kill people, yes.
Made by Respawn. Not Japanese.
You do not customize your character. I mean, you pick your lightsaber color, but that's not
Right.
customizing your
Yeah.
character.
Yeah, you're playing
You get
Cal.
to choose your poncho.
True. Throughout the game, right? Yep.
Yeah.
It's third person. Oh man, I feel good about this.
Ask a damn question.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Ask it.
All right. Well, does this take place in the Star Wars universe?
Yes, it does.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Bingo.
Okay.
Bango.
So it could be either this. Well, there's no guns, or like you don't shoot people. So it can't be Battlefront.
Right. You're constantly shooting guns and that.
It's the Star Wars TIE Fighter remake, or what is it? Rebel Squadron or whatever. Like you're shooting guns
Squadrons.
in that, and that's first.
Are you playing a character that's new to the franchise and it's canon?
That's very specific.
Very specific.
Yes.
Is this Jedi Fallen Order?
Is that
that what it's called?
Hold on,
final guess?
we got one more question.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll slow down.
So no, your 18 was a new character.
Yeah, so it can't be
Yeah,
like
one question and a guess is.
Force Unleashed because those came out too early.
Oh shit! I didn't even think about those. No, those are like pre-2010.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you
And this
got
is-
it, Brandon.
I think I got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I got it. Yeah,
So,
Jedi
what's
Fallen
your final
Order.
guess? That's your final guess.
Oh man, yes,
Are you sure?
yes, I'm sure.
Well, technically, it's called Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, but yes, you are correct.
Yeah.
Good job, guys.
Oh man,
This is a game I've been thinking about a lot, and that I think I'm gonna replay.
I might
Been
replay
in
too.
a Star Wars movie,
Yeah,
watching Clone Wars and getting ready for Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Like, it's all in that same era.
Yeah.
So I've been really into Star Wars lately. Finished the Thrawn book, so
Nice.
Oh, nice.
I definitely want to get into Jedi Fallen Order again.
Cool.
Yeah, that was a good one. I just thought of that one. I'm like, yeah, I've been wanting to replay this, so I'll just pick this one. But
Yeah.
when Brandon said it, like on question 15 or 16, I'm like, good job.
yeah, you're reacting in a
Yeah.
weird way, and I'm like, am I completely?
I was trying not to, you
Yeah,
know,
'cause,
I'm
like-
trying so hard to not react to anything.
I guess like when I said like customize your character, like you can kind of like customize him like
Yeah, because
With
you
the
can change his
poncho?
poncho, you can change, some of his stuff, but I'm
BD-8.
right. But there's no character creator, so
Mhm.
yep. So
What was the game that you were gonna play? Like, what was the idea?
well, I don't want to give it away because I want to.
Oh, okay, all right.
I might use it on
another
a
time.
future episode.
Tuck it
Well,
away.
I actually
Oh, okay.
had a couple different ideas. I had that one idea, and I want to save it for later. And then I was gonna do Two Truths and a Lie, but like Carl Urban edition with like facts about him. But I couldn't find enough facts.
Enough Carl
Like-
facts.
Yeah, so I was like,
Okay.
scrap that. So I did Joe's video game 20 questions.
All
for
right,
the
I
last
was
minute,
guessing.
so.
Okay, no, that's cool. All right. Well, the next episode is going to be about Star Wars.
Next episode's
Episode
Revenge
3.
of the Sith. Yep.
Yeah. Getting ready for the Kenobi show. So because that's going to take place right after, or a little bit after.
And then after that, we have 12 Monkeys with the other half of Response Message coming
Yes.
on
That's right.
as a guest. Yeah, Aaron's going to join us for that one, so that should be fun. But yeah, that was a fun one. Tom, I'll let you take the floor with anything you want to plug. Go ahead, take it away.
Thank you guys for having me. Check out responsemessage.com for Response Message, the podcast. I also I stream on Twitch on Wednesday nights at 6:30 Pacific time, twitch.tv/Time Waffle. And then
Such a good name.
thank you. I'm on Twitter at the Time Waffle. So yeah,
Awesome.
check out Response Message every other Monday.
Sweet.
Nice.
Awesome. If you don't mind me asking, how did you come up with Time Waffle? I've always been curious.
So there was an early Bombcast bit where there was like auto-generated Xbox Live names, and there was Time Muffin,
Okay.
and so I just like changed it a little to like Time Waffle.
Oh, that's
That works.
awesome. I love that.
Originally it was Time Traveling Waffle also, because I'm like, what if a
Ooh.
waffle could travel through time? But then like that's too long of a username.
Oh my god.
No, yeah, Time Waffle's perfect. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us, Tom. That was fun talking
Thanks, guys.
about some Dread. Like I said, next week, if you want to follow along, we'll be watching Revenge of the Sith. I'm very excited to revisit that one.
Yeah,
since
that'll be
that
interesting.
Is my favorite Star Wars movie. So
Oh, really?
that will be yeah.
Excuse me.
It is. Yep. We will be talking about that a lot.
Hey, and mine's
so
mine's 4, so this is going to be taking place between both of our favorite movies.
Oh,
It's true. It's true. But yeah, with that, we will sign off, I guess. This is terrible ending to the podcast. Anyways, let's end it. Safe travels, Nomads.
safe travels, Nomads.
Okay.
GPS. Multiple wounded and bodies for repsych.
Copy, Dredd. All shoppers are reminded to avoid the level 1 food courts until further notice. Alternative refreshments can be found on level 1 and level 2.
Let's talk.
Talk about what, Judge?
Release the hostage, unharmed, and I guarantee you a sentence of life in an ISO cube without parole.
Life without parole? That's a deal you offered?
Only if you comply. Your crimes include multiple homicide and the attempted murder of a judge. If you do not comply, the sentence is death.
You know, you aren't a very good negotiator, Judge. You know why? You got no fucking leverage! No. Yeah? Now here's the deal. You let me walk or I blow her fucking brains out. Okay?
Negotiation's over.
Hey, what are you doing? You hear what I said? I'll kill the bitch!
Yeah, I heard you, hotshot.
What?
I said, hotshot.
Control to Dredd, come in. Is your pursuit resolved?
Affirmative.
Report back to the Hall of Justice. The Chief Judge wants to see you.
Thank you, Judge.
The level 1 food court will reopen in 30 minutes. Thank you for your patience.